Continue on the consumption theme itself. We do have an interesting discussion lined up for you right now on Bazaar. We have Manoj Verma, who's the COO of Bikaji Foods International. Alongside him is Mayank Shah, who's the Vice President at Parle Products as well. Companies that are, as staple consumption as it gets. On the one hand, you have India's most popular biscuit brand. The other, you have, an organized bhujia player too. We've got to discuss three important things. One, the GST transition, because GST 2.0 on consumption, they had to be good. But how has the transition been? The second part, festive season expectations. So has it been as good as what they were expecting it to be? And the third part, raw material environment, which continues to, while benign, remain fairly volatile as well. Mayank, Manoj, thank you so much for joining in. Let's start with... Manoj, you had said that you expected about 3 to 5% incremental volumes on account of the GST 2.0. How has the transition been? How have you managed to, send out all the lower priced or higher grammage products into the stores? Were you able to pass it earlier smoothly and monitor that passage as well?
Good morning and thank you for inviting for this show. I think I'll take this question in two parts, right? So let's look at part one, which was the transition. So I think ever since this GST reduction was announced, there was a little bit hiccup in the purchasing. So the retail environment was hesitant of that. I mean, let's wait for new MRPs to come in or the prices coming down. I think that was a little bit a tough time, and wherein the STRs, the stock weight on the shelves went low, and it was a challenge. Lots of companies to fight with those interim challenges passed on lots of schemes as well, so as to keep up the sales going on. But I think in a long term, so part two is that going forward, yes, it will bring, and it has brought a lot of positive momentum. And now in most of the shelves, what you see is now the reduced price which is there. The modern trade environment, which is more organized, there even the old MRP stock or the erstwhile stocks what they had, they are selling it at per new reduced MRP with their signages on this stuff. So I see a very positive momentum and good impact going forward as well.
All right, so the last 10 days of September were worrisome for you. That will reflect in your second quarter as well. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But let's put that question forth to Mayank as well. Mayank, Parle, most of the products sold between 5 and 10 rupee SKUs, if not the lower prices as well. If I remember correctly, over 2/3 or, nearly 75% plus comes in from these lower priced variants. How did you manage to pass on the prices out there? Because you can't make a 5 rupee biscuit 4.88. And obviously at the same time, within a short span, you can't increase the weightage as well. So was that tough for you, and how did you manage the passage?
Yeah. So, Mangalam, there are, two stages of this entire transition or passing back of lower MRP to consumers. The first one is, unlike, snacks or namkeens where you can pack a little extra in the pack immediately. It's very different for biscuits. Biscuits, you have, typically inventories of wrapper and stuff like that for about 1.5 to 2 months. That's the kind of lead time that you have. So it's a two-phase transition. In the first phase, what happens is you immediately reduce the MRP. So 5 rupee becomes 4 rupee 45 paisa, and so on and so forth. 10 rupee becomes 8 rupee 90 paisa. You have the wrapper which is printed with a 10 rupee or a 5 rupee, and you strike it off, and you inject a lower MRP so as to pass on the benefit of GST.
But how do people give you 45 paisa when they have to buy a biscuit? How do the 55 paisa change come back to them?
Yeah, so, that's where UPI helps. What we have seen is that, the adoption of UPI is significantly, high today, and it's increasing as a result of this particular measure. That's one. Secondly, typically when you are going out and buying a biscuit, and a large part of buying in rural India and suburban India happens like that, even a good part in urban India, where probably, individual is going to the shop, or a small kid is going to the shop to buy a pack of biscuit. Along with that, he carries back a candy or something like that. There is no change. If there is change, they'll provide it, or mostly it is UPI through which they typically buy it. But that is, just timing. That's the transient phase, or the first phase that I was talking about. The second phase is where you will see companies adding that much weight in smaller packs and taking back the MRPs to 5 rupees or 10 rupees, such that the MRP per kg would be reduced to give the benefit of GST to consumers.
And have there been any checks from regulators, people from the government, or has it been smooth right now? Because a lot of people are saying that, because the government took away the anti-profiteering law, companies have run amok. Has there been any surprise checks, etc.?
Yeah, so the government is, CBIC is collecting facts from the market on whether companies have passed back the benefit or not. And I think, a large part of companies have been compliant on it. They have passed back the benefit. We are seeing in market the revised MRP packs or the revised weight packs, as I shared in the case of, namkeens and snacks. They have increased it's easier for them because, in a pouch, you can add probably 1.5, 2 gram if it is around 20 grams or so. And, as I shared with biscuits, it might take a bit of time. In next 15, 20 days, you will start seeing smaller packs with higher weight, so as that the MRP per kg is reduced by the quantum of GST benefit. That would be the way biscuit companies would be passing back benefit to the consumers. This would be specifically for the lower MRP packs. For higher MRPs, the MRPs have been reduced.
Okay, all right. Got that, Mayank ji. Let's go back to Mr. Verma then. Mr. Verma, what about the festive season? Q3, what are the expectations? You have this transition now that's taken place. Festive season as well as there's Diwali, then there's Christmas as well. On a like-to-like basis, how much better can Q3 be if you compare it on a year-on-year basis? What are your expectations?
So the festive season is looking really bright, and we're very positive on that stuff. That's the kind of response what we see not only with Bikaji, with other players playing in this space. Quarter, if we look at, I think, we should look at both, in terms of gifting, or sweets, which is more relevant to this festive season, and the rest of the business. So if we talk about our gifting sweets, I think this will be a wonderful growth. So a good number to be delivered in this quarter.
That's the third quarter. What about the second quarter that just went by? Because HUL said it was absolutely flat. Was it the case for you as well? Because the last few days were disrupted?
Of course, 10 days were disrupted, but still we'll deliver. We'll be delivering a good growth even in Q2 as well.
Can you define good? Is it high single digit? Is it low double digit? Is volumes wise?
It certainly will be a double digit growth.
Okay, double digit value growth, and volume would be high single or double?
So close to that. So high single or I'll say a double digit kind of.
Got that. And Mayank, for the biscuit industry, how did that pan out? And more so because, the last 10 days of a quarter is where a lot of the channel pushing also happens. So you would have lost a lot of sales, I suppose.
Yeah, so it was not just about, transition post 22nd. Even prior to that, I think there was restricted buying that was happening from retailers and distributors. That was in anticipation of, better prices. And it was more with biscuits compared to snacks. Snacks, the reduction in GST was from 12% to 5%. So net, there was about just 5-6% to be passed back. However, when you talk about biscuits, it was from 18% to 5%. So there was a significant amount of, reduction that was going to happen there. As a result of it, there was reduced buying that was happening from 5th, 6th of September onwards, till about 22nd. Post 22nd, we saw a little bit of bump, but that was largely into primary. In primary sales. Secondaries, started picking up over a period of time, let's say from 27, 28. But that's, I would term that as a teething trouble. And going forward, we are expecting, better sales. So, yeah, there might be a little bit of impact on second quarter, but third quarter is something that we are expecting to be, at least lower double-digit growth.
All right, Mr. Shah, what about your market share? Could you tell us how has that moved in the recent months? What is it currently?
Yeah, currently, if we talk about Parle's market share, we are at about 29%. And this is in terms of value. In terms of volumes, we are about 33%.
So, and how would that compare with, say, a few months ago? Have you gained market share according to your estimates?
Yeah, we gained about 75 basis points in last 1 year.
All right, 75 basis points in the last 1 year. Wonder whether that was from the larger players or whether that was from regional players. We'll talk about that in time to come. But just finally, before we let you go, both Manoj and Mayank, a view on the commodities prices right now. They were fairly volatile. Now they're expected to be a bit range bound as we move in the second half of the year. The price hikes also in the base. So Manoj, let's start with you on the margin front, the raw material price front. How's that?
So raw material prices are pretty much stable, and this is what we've foresee. So therefore, on the bottom line, this won't be impacting. And what we have done, and I think most of the companies, what they have rightfully done, the benefits what they got on this GST reduction, I think that's going to the consumer, which eventually will increase consumption. So good for overall consumption standpoint.
All right. And Mayank, you on edible oil prices, they had seen a decline from the highs, but they've also seen an increase from the lows.
Yeah, so I think for us, they would be largely stable. That should not be an issue. There are two commodities which one should be watchful of. One is wheat. Because of the increase in MSP, you would see some increase in wheat flour prices, and secondly, cocoa. So I think these are two commodities that one should be mindful of. We expecting them to go up, and given both of them, especially wheat is a key input. I think we would be a little wary of inflation, especially into cookies category. If you're talking about cocoa, happens to be a major ingredient. Chocolate cookies, bourbons, and those kind of things. That's where I think we would have to be watchful about what's happening on the cocoa front.
All right,
But those are
Manoj.
those are two commodities that we are keeping a close tab on.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us an update into how transition for GST for the consumer companies have been, at the same time telling us a little about the festive season, but more importantly, whetting all our collective appetites out here. Day starts with a Parle biscuit, perhaps ends with a bhujia as well. So the AM and PM has been taken care of by both the M's here, Manoj and Mayank. Thank you for